Started recording, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the requirement. So this is the requirement that we are going to get it from the customer, and we understand this requirement, and the developers will develop according to the requirement. Then that will be given to us. So we need to make sure that that is working as per the requirement and test. So we are testing the application which has been developed by the developer, and checking whether that is working as per the requirement. That we'll call it as a testing. So to make sure that the application is working as per the requirement, okay, as per the requirement, without any defects. That will defects or errors. We'll call it as error as of now. Defect we'll discuss when it comes. So to make sure that the application don't have any errors before we release the product to the customer, that we'll call it as a software testing. Okay. Any doubts? Yeah, we have different types of testing. Okay, so what are all the different types of testing? Manual testing, okay, automation testing, so performance testing, okay, security testing. So these are the different types of testings that people will do. What is mean by manual testing? So if you are putting manual efforts to test the application, manual efforts, so efforts that we are keeping as a human efforts, that will call it as a manual testing. Suppose if I want to test any of the application like this, so I'll open Google. This is the google.com. Okay, I want to test whether the searching functionality of the Google is working properly or not. Okay, I'll try to enter something. So I'll try to enter and search. So it has to display all the as per high related. So it will check whether the related words has been displayed or not. So it has to display all the related words here in the search page. Okay, that so I'm doing it manually now, right? I'm entering it manually on my keyboard. I'm entering it manually. I'm using my hands to enter this, right? That will call it as a manual testing. So testing it by manual efforts, human efforts, keeping human efforts to test the application. That will call it as a manual testing. What is mean by automation testing? The same thing that I'm doing, right? I'm opening the browser. Okay, I'm trying to enter something and clicking on the search button. Then it has to display the results and verifying whether the results has been displayed or not. If we enter it manually, if you enter it by your hands, then that will call it as a manual testing. If you try to write a code in such a way that it should open the browser, it has to enter the sorry, it has to enter the information that required, and it has to click on the search button and check whether that code is working properly or not. That will call it as a automation testing. So we are gonna write a code to verify the same functionality which we have done it manually before, to work it in faster way. So if the manual efforts takes to test this 1 minute, and if you write a code and run that code to check whether this functionality is working properly or not, that will take then just 10 to 15 seconds. So we are going to save it 45 seconds there. So suppose if I take this application, this is the application that we have. Okay, 1 second. Encotics.com. Okay, this is the application that I have. So if I want to test it, I'll select the date. first available date. First available date is 8. I need to select the first available date. I need to select the time of the show, then get tickets. Okay, let's finish the whole journey. Okay, so I need to select any one of the tickets, then click on checkout. Okay, it is taking some time, but okay. Then I need to select a card. I need to select card type, whether it is a PayPal or credit card or debit card. Then it is enter the voucher. I need to enter some voucher. Click apply and check whether the code is verified or not. Then click on checkout. Continue to checkout. Then I need to enter all the details. Okay, once you enter the details, then it will go to the payment page where I need to enter all the card details. Okay, then it has to display order information page. So this I have done it manually now. I am entering my using my hands. This will call it as a manual testing. Suppose the same thing, I had written a code to do the same functionality with code. So if I run that one by whatever the code that I have written, this is the code that I have written. The same thing, whatever the testing that I had done previously, it may take 5 to 7 minutes to complete whole testing. But if I run it the code which I have written, the same thing, it will open the application, it will open the browser, Chrome browser. Okay, it has opened the Chrome browser. Okay, so because this is the application, it has selected date, it has clicked on get tickets, it has selected the orchestra, then it has went to the basket. So where it is gonna select the credit card or debit card option and enter the voucher, verifying the voucher, clicking on continue. Then it is gonna enter the details. Okay, it is gonna enter the payment. Then it is processing, verifying whether that message is displayed or not while it is processing, and checking whether this email ID has been correct or not. Okay, whether the amount is correct or not, whether the voucher amount is being deducted from the actual amount or not. So it is gonna check like this. So we'll write a code to verify the same functionality which we have done it manually. So how much time it is gonna take manually, and how much time it is gonna take with for the automation. So it is verifying all the details on the order confirmation page. Once it has completes, so how much time it took? 1 minute 16 seconds to complete this whole test. But the same test, if you want to do it manually, it will take 5 to 6 minutes to test the same application, same test. Okay. So how much time we are saving it? 4 minutes we are. Suppose it takes 5 minutes to do it manually. By writing the code, it is taking only 1 minute 16 seconds. So that means we are saving 4 minutes, around 4 minutes of time by automating it. Okay, so that's why we go for automation testing, where we are gonna reduce the manual efforts. Okay, so suppose if you have 100 tests like this, then how much time it is gonna take? 100 into 5 minutes, 500 minutes. But if you run it by automation, it's gonna take only 100 minutes. So we are saving around 400 minutes, right? So that's why
Uh, so,
yeah.
so Raja, automation testing, it's like a work for all clients, like, because it varies, right? Testing varies from client to client.
Yeah. So
So,
whatever the applications are automated,
yeah.
then only we'll go for automation. If the application is not automated and it's no use of automating it, then no point. Then we don't go for automation. It
So
depends.
automated is, can you give me the example? What is like a automated app?
So this is the one which I have shown, right? I have written the code to run the same application. I have written the code in such a way that that functionality has been tested. This has been tested
Yeah.
by writing a code instead of doing manually. So entering manually like this, it will take some time, right, to enter the application
Oh, so
manually.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm writing a code to enter automatically.
All the data.
All the data will be entered, all the details are being verified, whether we have navigated to this page, whether this data is correct or not, whether this data is correct or not, whether this is correct or not, whether it has been selected two seats, and what is the amount that it has been, total amount is correctly or not, whether the service is facing two tickets for service fees is charging 10 pounds, $10 or not. So like this, everything in this page will be verified. So this comes under the requirement. So in heading should be contact details, main heading should be one of two your details, then under that we need to have a contact details, under that we need to have a information where it has to display we will connect, we will only contact if we need to speak to you about your booking. This will be clearly mentioned in the requirement. Name should be like this, and it has to accept only characters, and this placeholder first name is there, right? This will call it as a placeholder. So these things we need to test it manually if we don't have any automation.
Okay.
So
Okay, and
each
then
and
when you
every,
do the automation, the program
we'll write
runs,
a
and
code.
then
Yeah, we'll write a code to check all these things automatically. Whatever the code that we have written, we'll check automatically.
okay,
So no need to have any manual efforts. No need to see anything. Okay. So if something is not working in the automation, so suppose something is wrong, not right, something is not right in the application, then automatically our code will say that this is not working. Let's assume that I'll run one more test. So this test will fail because I had to change, the application has been changed. So if I run this one, it will open the browser. Okay, it
cool.
will launch the application. So launch the application means it will enter the URL, then it will it will select the first available date. Yeah, it has failed. So it will give the error why it got failed. At the end, it will give the error. So
On
here,
that point.
yeah, for input string 8, here it has failed because I am validating in such a way. Elements text is 8, but I'm verifying this with the 2-digit number. So at point
Zero.
here, code it will tell you at what line of the code it has been failed. 45, at line 45, it has been failed. Whether this failure is because of the application or whether this failure is because of my code. So we need to make sure whether the code is this code has failed because of my code or whether the application behavior is not correct.
Okay, so next available date instead of we need to write first available date, right?
Yeah, anything. See, it depends. It doesn't matter
Okay,
what we are writing. Okay,
okay,
okay. That words and all, it depends on the application. It depends on the requirement. So doesn't matter. Don't think about that much.
yeah,
Okay. So just I'm trying to explain what is meant by manual, what is meant by automation.
okay, okay,
Okay, so that is automation. So if we write some code and it has to run automatically and check whether the application is behaving as per the requirement, that will check in automation testing. So for automation testing we have different tools. Okay, Selenium is one of the tool. Tosca, UFT, unified functional testing. Like this we have plenty of tools in the market. Okay, so Selenium is one of the open source tool where anyone can use it. No need to pay for the license. Okay, it will work. It will work mainly for web applications. Okay, if you want to, if you are working, if your project is on web applications, then we need to go for Selenium. Okay, if you are working for Windows applications, then we need to go for UFT or Tosca because Selenium won't support much on Windows applications. Okay, but because this is a open source tool, in the market 70% of the companies are using Selenium, more than 70. So more than 70% of the people are using Selenium. Though if you want to develop any Windows applications, we can use a outside tool. We can use outside tool in the Selenium and work on Windows applications also. So Selenium will support the outside tools like AutoIT is one of the uh, outside tool where we can use it, AutoIT, to develop Windows applications using Selenium. Okay, Selenium is one of the tool which works for 8 languages like Java. We can develop Selenium with using Java, JavaScript, Python. Okay, Python, C Sharp. Uh, okay, so few more it will work like Python, JS, C Sharp. So like this, it will support 8 languages. Selenium will support 8 languages to work on. But but we prefer to go with Selenium, Java in these sessions. Okay,
And that's
Selenium
the tools, right? This
Selenium is a tool. Tosca is a tool. UFT
tool,
is a
yeah.
tool. Yeah,
And
to
those are
automate the
language.
applications. Yeah, to automate applications. These are the tools that we have in the industry. We have plenty of tools, but these are the main tools that we have in the
Mhm.
industry. So we are gonna use Selenium and Java. Okay, and Tosca also is one of the tool that is gonna use Java and different applications. But this is a paid version. We need to buy the license to use it. Okay, UFT is the tool that is a paid version tool. Okay, this is from HP company. So this is also paid version tool. So if you want to use it, we need to buy the license. But only the Selenium is the open source tool where we no need to buy any license. So we can directly download and use it. And also it will support for different languages like Java, JS, Python, C Sharp. Like this, it will support for 9 languages.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but UFT it will support only uh, Visual Basic VB script. Only VB script can be used to develop automation. Okay, only one language that is supported by UFT. Okay, that is about automation testing. What is meant by performance testing? So if you want to test any application, whether it is behaving, whether it is accepting the load. So suppose for my application, suppose for my application, I'm using this online.java. So suddenly, if 1 lakh people try to hit Cineworld, do you know, right? Cineworld, right? So this is the application where we can able to book the tickets for movies. If one of the movie has been released, like Avatar 2 has been released, and at a time, this website has been hitted by lakhs of users at a time to book the tickets for Avatar 2.
Yeah.
So then that application has to behave in such a way that whether one user is logging in and trying to book it or 10 lakhs users logging in and booking it. So the speed consistency of the application should be same. It should not reduce.
So it's
Okay.
not having a glitch.
Yeah, it should not breach. Like if 1 lakh people hits at a time, then the application should not become slow. The application should not crash. All
Functions
the
are
all the
stressed.
1 lakh people should able to book the tickets as per the normal use. As so if one user tries to book the ticket, how much speed it is the application, the same speed it has to be there when 1 lakh people hit the same at the same time. So we are
Oh,
checking the performance of the website. Okay, that will call it as a load. We will be giving the load to the website, and we will be checking how much time it is taking to load each and every page. So suppose if I click this one, how much time it is taking to load this page. As for one user, how much time it is taking. If 100 users at a time, if they select this family, it has to take the same time. It should be less than 1 second or less than 2 seconds. They have their own criteria. So whether it is behaving under that particular time. So that will call it as a performance testing. Okay, we are not going to discuss about performance testing in our classes. Okay, just for your purpose I am telling it. Okay, the next one is security testing. So to make sure that the application was not hacked by any outsiders. So
yeah,
malwares,
that
if
was there.
someone tries to hack our application, then it should make sure that our application should not be hacked by the outsiders and induce any viruses. Okay, to make sure our application is secure. So that was not hacked by someone from the outsiders or hackers. So we are gonna make sure in the security testing. So that is also not considered in this sessions. Okay, this is about types of testing. So now we'll go into actual testing classes. So what is mean by SDLC? This is important topic where we need to know, because definitely we are gonna get a question on SDLC. What is mean by SDLC? Software development lifecycle. What is meant by software development lifecycle? So to develop a product, to develop any one of the software or product, we need to follow one procedure or one process. Okay. Software development lifecycle is a process. Okay. It is a process to develop one software. Okay. It is a process to develop one software. That will call it as a software development lifecycle. So every company will follow one process to develop the product or software. So by using some methodologies, we have some methodologies to develop the product. Methodologies or models. Okay. So people use one or the other methodology or model to develop a software. That will call it as a software development lifecycle. Why we are using some methods or methodologies or models means to make sure that the application standard has been met, to make sure that the client is happy, okay, to make sure that the product is delivered on time. Okay, these are the, so client happy is important, right? Client should be happy. Okay, product should be delivered on time. Okay, and application should be in good standard. So these are the three things that we are going to check whether the application, these three things we are going to consider. So to develop a product, okay, we need to follow one process. Okay, to develop a product we need to follow one process. That process, this process, how we are going to follow this process, we have some methodologies or models. Those methodology or model will be used to develop a product, to make sure that the client is happy and to make sure that the product is delivered on time and the application standard is good. So that we'll call it as a software development life cycle. Software development life cycle is a process to develop the software by using one or more methodologies and deliver it to the customer where we can keep him happy. Okay, we can deliver it on time. Okay, so what are the methodologies or models? Have you understand what is meant by SDLC?
Yes.
Shravya,
Yes.
Vishal?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we have different methodologies that we are going to use it to develop a product. So first one is waterfall model. This is old traditional model. Okay, second one is spiral model. Third one is V and V model. Okay. Fourth one is agile methodology. Okay, these are the few models that we have. We have more models, but we no need to discuss about all the models. So waterfall model is the one which is the old model. Spiral model next to the waterfall model. Next one is spiral model, where the whatever the disadvantages that we have in the waterfall model will be covered in spiral model, and whatever the disadvantages that we have in a spiral model, we are going to cover it in V and V model. And agile methodology is the latest methodology. Each and every company is using now. 99% of the companies are using 99% of the companies are using agile methodology now in the industry. So this is important actually. This is the one which is very important to know about it. So waterfall model no one is using now. Spiral model also no one is using. and V&V model people are using still. 1% of the people are using V&V model. Okay, so for the interview purpose, we need to know what is mean by waterfall model, what is mean by spiral model. Okay, anyhow, we will be learning how V&V model and agile methodology, because still in the industry, these models or methodologies are using by the people, by the companies. So first we discuss about waterfall model. What is mean by waterfall model? Waterfall. What is the meaning of waterfall?
Water is falling from the height.
Yeah. The same way, water is falling from the height. So the same way, whatever the code, whatever the product that we are developing, okay, whatever the product that we are developing, once it falls down, right? Water, once it falls down from the top to bottom, we can't able to catch it. So it will fall down. The same way here, waterfall model also same. So once we develop the product and release it, if it falls down, we can't able to do it. If we want to do it, it will cost the product development. So that's why we are not going to use waterfall model. I'll tell you why. First, waterfall model like this: requirement. First we'll get the requirement from the client. Okay, after requirement, feasibility study. I'll explain you one by one. Okay, feasibility study, then design, then coding, then testing, then release, maintenance. So this is the flow that we have in the waterfall model. We get the requirement from the client. I already told you about the requirement, right? Requirement is getting from the client or customer. Okay, requirement is coming from the client or customer. Okay, what is the requirement? Requirement will explain you exactly what the product is and how the product should be developed. That will explain you the, that will give the information of the application that we are developing. Okay, that will give clear explanation, clearly explained about the product that we need to develop in the requirement. So requirement will be given by the client. Okay, client or customer. Who is going to bring this client, this requirement? Someone has to bring this this requirement from the client or customer, right? So here you need to remember business owner, business product owner. Go on mute, please. Business, go on mute. Business analyst, one has to go on mute. Okay,
Product
paper
owner.
sound, yeah. Okay, product owner, client or customer will, oh, some go on mute because you people are turning out the pages. Okay, so requirement is coming from the client or customer. Requirement is coming from the client or customer. This requirement will be bringing by product owner or business analyst from the client. Okay, product owner or business analyst will go to the client or customer and collect the requirement. Okay, product owner or business analyst will go and bring the requirement from the client or customer. So they will try to understand all the requirements from the client or customer and bring it to us, and they'll explain to us. Okay, whatever the requirement that they are giving by the client or customer, that will be brought by the product owner or business analyst. Okay, this product owner or business analyst will understand the requirement from the client, will understand the requirement from the client and bring it to us, and they will explain, bring it to us and explain the requirement. Okay, have you understood? Product owner or business analyst will go to the client or customer, understands the requirement and bring the document to us, and the document will be clearly explained to us. So if suppose a team of 10 people are there, 10 people will sit with the product owner or business analyst, and product owner or business analyst will explain all the requirement, exactly what client is expecting to develop. That requirement will be explained to all of them. Suppose 5 developers and 2 testers. Okay, 5 developers and 2 testers has to understand the requirement, right? So that's why product owner will go to the client, understands the requirement and bring that document to the team, and they will explain all the requirement to the team members. Okay. You need to remember one thing here. Product owner or business analyst will bring the requirement from the customer. Who will bring the requirement from the customer? If they ask in interview question, you should be able to answer. So, okay. Product owner or business analyst will collect the requirement from the client or customer. Okay. This is about the requirement. Once we get the requirement from the client or customer, okay, we need to study, right? So here architect is one of the guy who is gonna study this, whether it is feasible to develop, whether it is feasible to develop, number of resources required, number of resources required, and the financial feasibility. Okay, what is meant by it is feasible? Whether we can able to develop this product or not. Okay, whether we can able to develop this product or not. So okay, if we are able to develop this product, on what technology we need to develop, what technology we need to use to develop, whether it is Java, whether it is .NET, or whether it is Python, that will be decided by the architect. Okay, he what is the role of the architect? He will study, understand the requirement, and he will decide on what technology we need to develop this product, and how many resources, how many employees, how many testers, how many developers required for this product, and whatever the amount client is offering, is it feasible or not? Suppose client is ready to give 10 lakhs 10 lakhs pounds or 10 lakhs dollars to develop this product, then he is going to check whether that amount is feasible to develop this product or not. Okay, these three things will be taken care by the architect. Once once everything is okay, it is feasible and we can develop this one in Java technology, and the number of resources required is 3 developers and 2 testers. Okay, and the amount feasibility what the client is offering is okay, then we are ready to go for development. Okay, these things will be done in feasibility study. In the feasibility study, we are going to check whether we can able to develop it in any one of the technology, and the number of resources that required, and the feasibility of the financial situation. Okay, and the developers and testers will try to understand the requirement that brought it from the client or customer by business analyst or product owner. Okay, meanwhile, once it is okay, and once it is accepted everything by the architect, then we need to understand the requirement, right? We need to understand the requirement that brought by the product owner or business analyst. So we'll thoroughly read the requirement and try to understand it everything. The same thing which I have mentioned here about the amount transfer or verify table. So this requirement document will be given to us. Then we need to go through each and every requirement. This is one requirement. This is one requirement. Okay. So we'll go through all this document and try to understand what exactly client is expecting. If we have any doubts, then we'll go back to the product owner or business analyst, then get the information clarified. Okay. So here this is about feasibility study. Okay. Then design. Next one is design. What is we have two types of design: high level design and low level design. High level design and low level design. So in the design, there will be two levels of design: high level, low level. What is meant by high level and low level? Suppose if you want to construct a house, high level design. What is the high level design in the construction of a house? We'll get a plan, right? We need to get a plan. We need to prepare a plan first, right? We need to prepare a plan. That is high level design. Okay, we'll be bringing a plan of a house, that we'll call it as high level design. The low level design means, so once we get a plan, in the plan what we are going to have, just we'll be
Okay.
having like, there will be 3
Detail.
bedrooms. Yeah, one washroom, one hall, and the entrance will be like this, and so on in the high level design. But when it comes to low level design, we need to see each and every bedroom. Suppose if I have a 3 bedroom, I'll take 1 bedroom, and I'll clearly clearly decide what exactly what all the things that required in this particular bedroom. Okay, what cot, how many shelves it has to be there, how many cupboards it has to be there. Okay, these are all small minor things that required, because these minor things will not mention in the high level design. In the plan we are not going to mention what is how many cupboards, so what type of cupboards, what type of fan, what type of bed. These are all the things that we are not going to mention in the high level design, right? Just there will be 3 bedroom. That is a proper high level plan. And low level plan, in the low level, what we are going to decide what exactly we need in each and every bedroom, what exactly in the kitchen, what exactly in the hall, what exactly we need to use, the what are the doors that we need to use, whether it is a wood or something different, what kind of steel we need to use, what kind of fans we need to use, what kind of bed we need to use. So those are comes under the low level. Okay, so they'll design high level. In the requirement or in the software technology, they will design like the same way we have designed planning for house. The same way they're gonna decide and di- divide according to the requirement. Suppose amount transfer, they will divide this amount transfer, and diagrammatically they will design the document. Okay, diagrammatically they'll design the document for verify balance and amount transfer, how it should look on the web page. Okay, once after the high level design, low level design is important. So each in the low level design, we are going to write a code for that particular functionality. In the low level design, code, whatever the code that, so suppose Java is the technology they want to develop, so they will develop using the Java technology. So amount transfer, this will be diagrammatically written in the high level design. In the low level design, they will try to write a code to work according to the design. That is low level design. So suppose here account number should be 10 digits. Okay, account number should accept only 10 digit number. It should not accept more than 10 digits. It should not accept less than 10 digits. Same way, from a two account number should be more than, it should be only 10 digits account number. Okay, the account number should be minimum 10 digits. It should not be less than 10 or greater than 10. Amount should be accepted only according to the balance available in the, suppose I have a balance of 10 lakhs rupees, then only it has to accept to transfer up to 10 lakhs rupees. It should not accept more than 10 lakhs rupees, and it should accept less than 10 lakhs rupees. Transfer button, once we enter all these details, then only transfer button has to work. Okay, the same way cancel. So these are all the things that will be considered while developing a product, while developing this functionality, amount transfer functionality. So that is low level design. Coding is the low level design. So low level design, that will be decided in the low level design. Like the in the low level design, 10 digits should be, only 10 digits should be accepted. Only 10 digits should be accepted for in account number. Only the amount that required, that whatever the amount that in the balance, that amount only has to be accepted. Transfer button should work only once we enter all these three details. So this is the low level design. Okay, any doubts?
No.
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 Okay, in coding, so high level design is completed and low level design is completed. In the coding, developer will divide the work. If three developers, they'll divide the work. So one developer will be developing amount transfer functionality. One developer will be developing the verify the balance. So they'll divide the work and they'll start writing the code. Once the coding is completed, it will come to testing, where we need to test the, as a tester, we need to test the application, whatever the developer has been developed. Okay, after testing it, if you don't have any errors and everything is working as per the requirement, then it will be released to the client. It will be released to the client. Okay, Once it is released, the company will accept whether then they'll give the maintenance or not. So it depends. So if you want to support a maintenance of 1 year, then we are going to charge this much amount. Or by when we are taking this whole product, they may that also included the maintenance also. 1 year maintenance will be given free after developing or releasing the product. So it depends on the company and the product require what they discussed about this product. Okay, in the testing will be doing according to the requirement, whether it is working properly or not, right? So what you can think here. So in the waterfall model, testers are not at all involved from the beginning. From the requirement stage, testers are not involved until here. So there are no testers at the requirement stage. There are no testers at the feasibility study. There are no testers at the design level. Testers will come only after designing the product. Whole product has been developed. Then only testers will be entering. Okay, this is the advantage. So why I'm saying this is the advantage, because suppose if there is some requirement is missing or some requirement is wrong, then the whole thing will be flowing down until here, right? If anything is wrong at the requirement stage, then that whole thing, the same error will be coming to feasibility study, the same error will be coming in the design, and the same error will be coming in the coding. Once it comes to testing, then we'll find that there is some error here. So if we found error at the end of at the end of the release, at the time of release, then the whole thing has to be changed again. The requirement has to be changed. Here also it has to be changed. On the feasibility study also it has to be changed. On the design part it has to be changed. And the coding has to be changed. So everything is flowing down like water. So the cost of the product will be increased because the tester is involved at the end after developing the product. So suppose if the tester is coming from the requirement stage, then and there itself we can able to fix the requirement wrong, whatever the wrong requirement we have. If the tester is available from the requirement state, instead of coming here, if he is coming from here from the requirement starting stage, then and there only we'll fix the requirement if there is an error. So no, it won't fall down until here, right? So here only we are going to fix it. No need to rework everything. At the requirement state itself, we are going to fix the requirement. Then after fixing the requirement, then the feasibility study will happen, then design will happen. So this feasibility study also will be verified by the tester. This design is also verified by the tester. So after writing the code, then testers will be involved to test the product. So testers are at the end. So if any of the requirement is wrong, then that will be flowing down until testing. So to change this one, total stages has to be changed. That will cost the product. Cost of the product will increase, and the delivery of the product will be delayed, right? Understand?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So this is waterfall model. So we don't have any tester. We don't have testers until the product has been developed. So because of that, if any error at the requirement, that error will be flowing down to the bottom. So to fix that error, again we need to rework on all the stages. That will cause the product. Okay, that will be delayed to deliver the project to the client. So that's why, if so, this is the disadvantage. Disadvantage. What is the disadvantage of waterfall model? Testers are coming at the end. Testers are coming at the end. That is the disadvantage of waterfall model. Okay. What is the advantage? What is the advantage of waterfall model? So advantage is, if the requirement is very clear and there is no change, then the cost of the product will be reduced. Cost of the product will be reduced. If the client is very clear and he doesn't require any changes in the middle of the development, then it is good to go for waterfall model. If the client is not if the client is not known the requirement very well, and you only don't know how the product has to become, then that time we should not go for waterfall model. If the client knows very well about the requirement, what exactly he needs, what exact product he needs, then at that time we can go for the waterfall model. So this is old tradition model. If the client is very clear about his product, then we can go for waterfall model. The cost of the product will be reduced because the testers are coming at the end. If the testers are coming at the top, then we need to pay the salaries for the testers until here, right? But here testers are coming at the end. Testers here we no need to pay the testers until it has come to testing. So the cost of the product will be reduced. So this is about waterfall model. Understand?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. This will be used very less, not less. It's not at all in the market now. Waterfall model. The waterfall model. Next one is spiral model. So spiral model. Let me show you the diagram. Okay. Let me show you the diagram. So this is the spiral model. Okay. So requirement collection. Okay. Design, coding, and testing. Okay. So requirement, we'll get the requirement from the client. Okay. We'll get the requirement from client. This from here to here. Requirement of A. We'll get the requirement here in the spiral model. We'll get the requirements in the modules. We'll get modules, like suppose if we are developing a product of A. Okay. We need to develop a product of, we are developing product A. So that product will be divided into modules A1, A2, A3, A4, like this. So this will call it as modules. Combinedly we'll call it as A. This A1, A2, A3, A4 combinedly A will be developed. So what happens in the spiral model, we'll get the requirement in modules wise. So first we'll get the A1 module. Suppose A1 module we are getting. So A1 module requirement will be coming. Suppose amount transfer is A1 module. Okay. And check the balance is A2 module. And verify the amount is being sent to the to account number, that is A3 module. Okay. Let us assume amount transfer is A1 module, check balance is A2 module, and delete account is the A3 module. Okay. First we got the requirement for amount transfer. So we understand the requirement of amount transfer here in RA requirement A. Okay. We got the requirement of amount transfer A. We study the requirement. We understand the requirement. Okay. We got the requirement from the client, which is brought by the product owner or business analyst for amount transfer. We'll understand that requirement. Okay. Once we understand the requirement, then we'll start designing it. Here also it will be high level design, low level design, that will be done. And then coding will be done. Then testing will be done for that particular A. Okay. For that particular amount transfer. Okay. Here testers are not involved. All the development and testing will be done by the developers. No testers are involved in spiral model. All the testing activities also done by the developers. So that is disadvantage here. Okay. Once we get the requirement of A, we study the requirement of A, design the requirement of A, coding the requirement of A, testing the requirement of A. So if the client requires to change, or suppose if in the requirement A, while we are testing it, while the developer is testing it, if he finds any defects or any error, that will be fixed along with the requirement B. Okay, that will be fixed along with the requirement B. So if any error is coming in requirement A, okay, that error will be fixing while we are developing the requirement B. So along with B, we are fixing the requirement A error. So here requirement A error and requirement B will be parallelly developed, design, coding, and testing will be happen. If suppose client comes and asks you to change in the requirement B, because this already requirement B has been developed and released. Okay, after when we are planning to develop a requirement C, client will come and ask you to change something on the requirement B. Okay, client will come and ask you to change in the requirement B. Then what happens? Whatever the change that requested by the client will be modified, that will be taken in the requirement C. Along with requirement C, the changes of requirement bill will be also developed and delivered here. So what happens here? In the spiral model, requirements can be changed. In the waterfall model, requirements, once it is fixed, we can't able to change the requirement. Okay, we can't change the requirements in the waterfall model, but in spiral model, we can able to change the requirements in the middle. Okay, that is the advantage of spiral model. Requirements can be changed. Okay, this spiral model will come in the form of modules. Okay, I told you, right? First we get the requirement module, module A, module B, module C. They're like that. We'll get the requirement in modules. Okay, requirements can be changed in the middle. Requirements can be changed in the middle in the spiral model, but in waterfall model we can't change the requirements. Okay, so once it is developed, right, A is developed and tested and released, then B is developed, B is tested, and B is tested. So here we need to test A, B, A to B, B to A. So all this testing will be done. Integration testing will be done. That will be discussed later. Okay. So what are the disadvantages? Advantages, requirement changes are allowed, right? Whatever the requirement, if we are developing B, if requirement client comes in the middle and asks the changes in the requirement A, then we can able to change the requirement A along with the requirement B. So parallelly we can develop changes of requirement A and also requirement of B and deliver it, test it and deliver it to the client. Okay, requirements are changes, requirement changes are allowed. After we develop one module, then only we'll go for to develop the next module of the product, right? Once we develop A, then only we are going for B. Once we develop A, B, then only we are going for C. So we are developing the product module wise. Okay. So these are the advantages of waterfall model. What are the drawbacks? So drawbacks I already told you, right? In the spiral model, only developers will test the product. There are no testers involved in this. So why if what is the problem if developer tests the product? What is the problem?
Maybe too much workload. I don't know.
Okay. Any guess?
Or maybe you cannot figure it out your own work, your own
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah. So
That's
developers
the
will think that. So suppose I'm working, I'm riding a car. Then I'm very confident that I'm riding. I'm very good in car driving, right? Because whatever I do, I feel that I'm best, right? Same way, developer, whatever the code he has written, he will think that that is the best. He will be thinking like A to B. So suppose developer is developing the product. Okay, A1, he is developing A1. So the requirement is amount transfer. Okay, amount is amount transfer. What he will think? Amount transfer, whatever the requirement he has given, he will develop it. Okay, enter the amount number, enter the from account number, enter the to account number, enter the balance, enter the transfer button. Click on transfer button, amount has to be transferred. So he has developed and click, if he clicks cancel, whatever the details they have entered, it has to be done. So now he has done according to the requirement, but developer is done according to the requirement, everything is working fine. Okay, he won't think beyond the requirement. He can't think, developer won't think beyond the requirement. So suppose I have logged in, I have logged into the account, have entered the details of all the details, I cancel the amount, then I try to, from amount transfer, I try to click the back button of the page. So back arrow button. As a tester, I'll try to click on the back arrow button. Okay, I'm in the amount transfer page. I'll click on the back amount transfer, back page. Then it has to go to, it has to throw, because banking application, uh, it's not allowed to go back pages like that, right? So as a tester, I'm thinking beyond the requirement and trying to break the application. But developer won't think in such a way. Developer will think only according to the requirement, whether it is working properly or not. But as a tester, we think beyond the requirement and try to break the application. So that's why every application requires testers. Testers will be thinking beyond the requirement. Okay, testers will be thinking beyond the requirement. As a developer, suppose amount from account number should be 10 digits number. So he will test it only 10-digit number is working properly or not. Okay, so he enters 10-digit number, he enters to account number 10-digit number, then he'll click on transfer, enter the amount 100 rupees. Okay, then he will click on transfer, it is going through perfectly. So as a tester, what I'll think, I'll enter different amount fields like 100 rupees. We will enter exactly amount 100, no problem. Okay, that is positive scenario. I'll enter 100 rupees. I'll enter 100 rupees and check whether it is taking it or not. Okay, as a tester, I'll enter 100 rupees. I'll enter $100 like this. I'll enter $100 and check whether it is accepting or not. So as a tester, we do different ways of testing. We think in different way not like developer. So that's why testers are required. Tester will just check whether the amount is accepting 100 rupees. He won't test it like this. And I'll try to enter like this 100.00, whether it is taking or not. For these three conditions, it has to throw an error. It should not accept these three fields. Okay, it has to accept only 100 rupees, 100 integer value. It has to accept only integer value. But while testing the application, developer will check only whether 100 is taking or not. But as a tester, if you are testing the application, we do different types of testing. So I'll enter $100, I'll enter 100.00 and try to break the application. So if it is not working in any one of the case, then that is a error, right? That is a defect. That's why we think beyond the application. So from account number, what he will do, he will enter 10 digits and check. Yeah, it is working 10 digits, fine. But as a tester, I'll enter 9 digits, I'll enter 11 digits as well. I'll check the application whether it is taking 9 digits and also 11 digits. So I'm covering two more scenarios here, two more test cases as a tester. So tester thinking will be different compared to developer. Developer will think only according to the requirement. So that's why testers required for the application. So in the spiral in the spiral model, developers will be testing it. So there is a chance of missing the defects. That is one of the disadvantage. Okay. Whenever there is a dependency in building the different modules of the software, then we use spiral model. Okay, drawbacks. So suppose now we are developing, right? We are developing A and we are developing B module wise, right? If there is a dependency to develop B, if there is a dependency on C, then we can't develop B, right? That is one of the drawback. If to develop B, there is a dependency on C. Because if develop C only, we can develop B. If we take an Excel application, okay, cells, there is a lot of, right, whole so if you go to the Excel, let me go to the Excel. So this is Excel that we have. So this is columns, this is rows, and this is cells. Everything is dependent on each and one other. So if you want to develop a column, we need to develop a row, then cell. So we can't use the cell until we develop columns and rows. So like it is a dependency. So if I want to check whether the amount is transferred to the to account number or not. So if suppose if the requirement is to check whether the amount is has been sent to the to account number. So a requirement is to check amount has been sent can we able to develop this a functionality before we develop amount transfer amount transfer? Can you able to check? So now b module is to check the amount to b module is to check to transfer the amount. So how we are going to check whether the amount has been sent if we are not able to develop if we didn't develop amount transfer? We can't, right? Once we transfer the amount, then only we can able to see this in the to account number amount has been received or not. So if there is any dependency between the modules, then this won't work out. Spiral model won't work out. If there is any dependency on the spiral any modules, then the spiral model is not work out. That is one of the drawbacks. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about version?
Hello. Yeah. Sorry, like my laptop's working slow. That's what.
Okay. So you can able to understand, right? What is
Yeah, yeah.
spiral model? Yeah.
So spiral is like if we can change the amount on A and then after B to check the amount has been sent, then there is no dependency, right?
Yeah, there is no dependency. If there is a dependency, then you can't able to go for spiral
Work
model. That is
on
one of the
B, yeah.
disadvantages.
So
Yeah.
you have to complete the first step properly,
Yeah.
then go for the next one.
Yeah. So now if I have a dependency of B to develop A, then we can't go for spiral model, right? Because the
Yes.
requirement came for A, but we didn't get the requirement for B yet. But the requirement A to develop requirement A, we need to have the requirement B. The requirement B comes only once we complete the requirement A.
Okay.
But requirement A to complete requirement A, we need requirement B. But that will come only after completing the requirement A. So in that case, we can't go for spiral model.
All right.
Okay. What are the advantages of a spiral model?
Oh, it splits the whole task in small parts.
Yeah. Model.
So,
Yeah.
that way we can work on, like a small task, like the
Yeah.
whole
Small
product.
module.
Yeah, small, and we can make a big product.
Yeah.
Like
That is one of the advantage. What is the next advantage?
Requirements
advantage.
can be changed.
Yeah. Requirements can be changed. Is one are the two advantages. What is the disadvantage of spiral model?
Maybe no tester.
No testers. Yeah. That is
It
one
is
of
just
the
a dependency in the modules cannot be changed.
modules cannot be. If there is any dependency on between the modules, then we can't go for spiral model. So here in the methodologies or models, you need to remember advantages and disadvantages. Questions will be coming only on this. What are the advantages and disadvantages of waterfall model? What are the advantages and disadvantages of spiral model? What is the difference between waterfall model and spiral model? These are the questions they are going to ask you in the interview. Okay, so you should be thoroughly understanding of the you should be knowing the advantages and disadvantages of each and every model. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'll put on the light. Okay. This is about V model. You want to take any break?
For me, no.
No, sir.
Okay.
If you want, you can take.
No, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Next one is V and V model. Okay, V and V model. So I'll show you the diagram where V and V model, because I'm not showing on the board. So this is the diagram for V and V model. Okay. Before I come here, we need to know few words. Okay. Requirement, right? I told you about the requirement. CRS, customer requirement specification. Customer requirement specification. We'll call it as a customer requirement specification, or okay, business requirement specification. BRS. Okay, whatever the requirement that we are getting it from the customer, whatever the requirement document, whatever the document that we are getting from the customer, we'll call it as a CRS or BRS. CRS means customer requirement specification. BRS means business requirement specification. So people will be calling as CRS or BRS the document which is getting from the customer by the product owner or business analyst. Who is bringing this CRS or BRS from the client?
Business analyst.
Yeah, business analyst or product owner. So any one of those will be bringing the requirement from the customer. Whatever the document that they are bringing, we'll call it as a customer requirement specification or business requirement specification. Okay. Whatever the document that we are getting it from the customer, okay, that will be in the business language. That will be in the business language. Okay. Whatever the requirement that we are getting it from the customer, that is CRS or BRS, that will be in the business language. Business language means, so amount transfer. Amount transfer. Who will use this amount transfer word? Normally, banking people only will use the amount transfer, right? We as a people won't use amount transfer or something. So this will call it as a banking terminology. So whatever the document they are giving it is in the banking terminology. So in the bank, so amount transfer, there will be amount transfer, there will be home loans, personal loans, okay, business loans, mortgages. So these are all the terminologies that bank use, right? In the internal bank will use, these are the words, these are the terminologies they use. Mortgages means people in the bank, people will use mortgages to give the loans to the houses, house loans. Okay, so they'll take a mortgage. They'll do a mortgage to give the home loan. So these are the terminologies that they are going to use it. Whatever the document that is coming from the customer will be in the business language. Okay, it will be in the business terminology. Okay, that will be in the business terminology. Okay, remember this thing. Whatever the requirement that we are getting from the client is in business language. That is CRS or BRS will be in the business language. Business language in the sense the terminology that exactly what they are using in the banking sector. Banking. Someone has to go on mute. Please go on mute, everyone. Okay. CRS or BRS, that is bringing from the client by the product owner or business analyst. That will be in the business language. Okay. Okay. So once we get the requirement from the customer, that is CRS or BRS, then we developer will start understanding the CRS document. At the same time, testers will be reading the CRS document or BRS document. So here both testers and developers will start working from the starting stage in the V&V model. Okay. Testers will be coming from the beginning of the requirement. Developers will be coming from the beginning of the requirement. So once we get the requirement from the product owner, by the product owner from the client, so this document will be given to both testers and developers. So testers will start reading the requirement and try to understand the requirement. Okay. Developers will start the requirement, understand the requirements. Okay. Once CRS is given, CRS, once the requirement has been come, okay, tester will start understanding the requirement. Okay. Testers will start understanding the requirement, then try to write the functional acceptance test plan and test cases, acceptance test cases. What is meant by acceptance test plan, acceptance test cases and all, we'll discuss later. Okay, just remember this. Just remember. Okay, once we get the requirement from the customer, testers will start understanding the requirement. After understanding the requirement, try to verify all the requirements are correct or not, and try to, once everything is correct, then they will prepare the document for acceptance test plan and acceptance test cases. Okay, they will prepare a document. Meanwhile, the testers are developing the acceptance test plan or acceptance test case. Developers will start converting CRS to SRS. What is meant by SRS? SRS is software requirement specification. Software requirement specification. Okay. So from CRS to SRS, developers will start converting from CRS to SRS. Meanwhile, developers will be developing SRS. Meanwhile, testers will be understanding the requirement and checking the requirement is correct or not, and start writing acceptance test plan and acceptance test cases. Okay. By the time these people finishes SRS, we finish our writing test acceptance test plan and acceptance test cases. Okay. This document, SRS document, will be coming to us testers. Okay. We'll start checking the SRS document whether it is correct or not. If it is correct, then we'll start writing system test plan and system test cases. Okay. By the time developers will start developing designing. Okay. So developers will give the SRS document to us as a tester to the testers, and they start preparing designing. Okay. Design, again, it will be high level design and low level design. Okay. High level design and low level design. So okay, testers will developers will start developing high level design. Are you getting? Once we get the requirement,
Raja, I'm just getting confused with first two steps, CRS and SRS.
yeah, I'll explain. So CRS is the document which is in the business language. Okay, it will be in the business language. So they are converting this business language as CRS document to software requirement language. So software language, they are converting it into software language. So whatever the software they are developing, right? So they will be transferring amount transfer, right? Amount transfer will be used. Transfer. So this is the under amount transfer. We will be checking. So we'll be writing a document in such a way that everyone can understand. As a tester should understand, as a developer has to understand, as an architect has to understand, as a product owner has to understand the language. So that will be that will be converted in such a way that that will be converted in such a way that should understand for everyone. Software terminology will be used. So amount transfer from account number should accept only integer value. Okay, this is 2.1 1.1. Okay, 1.2 from account number should accept only 10 digits. 0.3. So like this is the SRS document, but whatever the document they give will be in the like this. This image sometimes we'll get it in a image format. Like, so if I go here, I will show you. I'm not sure. So it will be like this. They'll give the requirement document that they have given is in this format. Okay, they have given this image, and they have given this image. This is in business terminology and how it should look. So this is CRS document, and this CRS document we are converting into software language so everyone can understand. So from account number should accept only integer value. From account number should accept only 10 digits. From a to account number should accept only 10 digits. It should not accept any characters. So clearly explaining each and everything. So here from account number, just he has given an image, and we don't know exactly what it has to be entered. Account number, just they told that from account number to account number amount. Whether it has to accept digits or whether it has to accept characters, whether it has to accept both, nothing is given right here. Right in this image, we were not given much information. Just they have given
Yeah.
the image. So this image, whatever the image that came from the requirement, okay, this will call it as a customer requirement. This one will be explaining clearly each and every field. From account number, from account number means it has to accept only digits, numbers, integers. Okay, it has to be the length of 10 digits. It should not be more than 10, or it should not be less than 10. This account number should be created by the manager. Okay, like this, everything clearly written in the SRS document that is converted into SRS. That we'll call it as SRS. So whatever the document they prepare, SRS, that will clearly explain the functionality of each and every field. Each and every field will be clearly explained what exactly they are going to develop. Understand?
Yeah.
So CRS comes, we start understanding the requirement. We try to check whether any requirement is missing, whether the requirement has any errors, whether the requirement has any gaps. And once it is verified, everything is fine, then we start writing acceptance test plan or acceptance test cases. Meanwhile, developers will be developing SRS document. Once the SRS document is finished, by the time SRS document is finished, we finish with the CRS document, and we take SRS document. Then we start understanding the SRS document, and we try to check whether any errors are there in the SRS document. And if everything is okay, then we start writing test plan as system test plan, system test cases. Meanwhile, developers will start developing high level design. Okay. Meanwhile, developers are developing high level design. By the time we try to understand the SRS document and check any gaps, any errors, then start writing test plan and system test cases. Okay.
So this CRS is done by tester.
CRS
Like,
document will be verified whether
so
everything is properly or not.
verified by tester, right?
Yeah.
And then on the other side, these web developer are making, the
From CRS
SRS
to
for us.
SRS. Yeah.
So, and we need to test that too.
Yeah. So each and every step we are going to test it here. We are testing CRS. We are verifying CRS is correct. Document is correct. Are there any gaps in the requirement? Anything is missing in the requirement? Okay. We'll be verifying it. And we will be writing acceptance test plan, acceptance test cases. Meanwhile, the developers will be developing SRS document. Once the SRS document is developed, by the time we finish this CRS document verification, we get the SRS document. We start analyzing and checking whether there is any errors in the SRS document. If everything is okay, then we start writing test plan, system test cases. Meanwhile, developers will be developing high level design. Once high level design is completed, then this high level design will be coming to the testers. Testers will be writing integration test cases and test integration test cases and integration test plan or integration test cases and integration test cases. Okay. Meanwhile, developers will be developing low-level design. Okay. So in each and every phase, tester is involved here in the V&V model. Each and every phase, tester is involved in the V&V model. Okay. By the time low-level design is developed, high-level design will be tested and prepared integration test plan and integration test cases. Okay. Once the low-level design is completed, developers will go for coding. Developers will go for coding. Meanwhile, they are writing the coding. We write functional test cases and functional test plan and functional test cases. Okay. By the time we verify and we write the functional test plan and test cases, coding will be developed. So this will be tested by the tester. Unit testing will be done here. Unit testing will be done by the developers. Unit testing will be done by the developers. Okay. Okay. Unit testing will be done by the developers and delivered. Okay. Release. So once everything is done, coding is done, and unit testing is done, then it will be coming to us for testers. Okay, whole product will be given to us. Then what we do, we are going to do all these test cases already written, right? All the test cases already written for each and every phase, right? All the testings will be done by the testers. So if you see the image here, okay. So first we get the requirement CRS document. Once we get the CRS document as a tester, so this side is testers, this side is developers. Okay, this side is developers, this side is testers. Once we get the requirement from the client, which is brought by the product owner or business analyst, this will be understanding. Testers will start understanding the requirement, trying to check if there are any errors in the requirement, and start writing acceptance test plan and acceptance test cases. Okay. Meanwhile, developers will be developing SRS. Okay. Once the SRS document is developed, once SRS document is developed, by the time testers will be completing the CRS, then the testers will take the SRS document and they will verify the SRS document and check if there are any errors or any gaps. Then write system system test plan or system test cases. So by the time developers will start developing high level design. So once by the time we complete here, developers will develop this one and give it to us. Then we'll start testing the high level design document and start writing the integration test cases and integration test plan. Once by the time we finish this high level design, the developers will finish the low level design that will be given to us. Then we'll start verifying the low level design document and start writing the test cases to the test cases, functional test cases and functional test plan.
Raja, what is the integration? What happened in integration testing?
That I'll tell. Okay, what is mean by system testing, what is mean by acceptance testing, what is mean by integration testing, what is mean by functional testing, that will be discussed clearly. Okay, so for now leave it as it is. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So by the time developers will start coding, meanwhile we'll be verifying the low level design document, whether anything is wrong in the low level design document, testing it and writing the test cases. So by the time developers completes their coding, we'll finish our functional test plan and functional test cases. So once the coding is developed, they'll start doing unit testing or white box testing. Developers will be doing the white box testing. Remember this one. Who will do white box testing? The question will come in the interview. So developers will be doing the white box testing or unit testing. Once it is done, then it will be the whole product will be given to the testing team. So once the product is delivered to us, then we'll whatever the test cases we have written, acceptance test cases, system test cases, integration test cases, functional test cases, we already documented everything. By seeing those test cases, we'll start testing it, the application. Okay, the product will be, once everything is fine, then it will be delivered to the client. This is V&V model. Okay, so what are the advantages of V&V model? Can you able to guess it now?
Yeah. So every steps verified by tester.
Yeah,
So
every step is verified. Every test is tested by the tester. So there is less chance of errors coming through down, right?
yeah, we can track the problem on
Yeah.
spot.
So on the spot, if we have any problem on the CRS document, we can able to spot it on there itself, and we'll try to fix it there itself. So it won't drop down till coding and testing, right? So this is one of the advantages. What else we can think about the advantages?
Oh, that feedback system, the at the very end, it goes back to the first step, and according to the drawing.
Yeah,
So,
testers will be involved on each and every stage.
yeah.
Deliverables will be parallel. So we can deliverables will be parallel. So once the requirement comes in, we analyze, we develop, and we'll give it to the customer. Okay. So deliverables will be parallel. Once it is completed, we'll deliver this one to customer.
First,
Once SRS is completed, SRS test cases documentation will be delivered to the developer. HLD, same. Low level, same. Coding, final. So each and every phase will be delivered to the client. Okay. So that is the one of the advantage. And the cost of the product will be less. Why?
time
Final
savings.
product. Cost of the final product will be less. Why is it so?
Because it's time saving. Because if we find a problem at last,
Hmm.
so it takes the time to figure it out where the
Yeah.
problem happened.
So we have testing starts at the early stage of the product development, which avoids downward flow of defects, right? Testing is involved in every stage of the product, as we discussed. Deliverables are parallel. Okay, total investment is less as there is no downward flow of defects. These are the 4 advantages that we have in the V&V model. What are the disadvantages? Initial investment is more, right? Testers are involved from the beginning, right? That is, initial investment is more.
Yeah.
Okay, more documentation work. Why more documentation work? Because each and every phase we are preparing the documentation. We are doing the documentation,
Yes,
acceptance
right.
test plan, acceptance test cases, then system test plan, system test cases. In each and every phase we are preparing a documentation. We are documenting it everything. So the documentation is more here. So these are the 2 disadvantages that we have in the V&V model. Okay, are you clear? Are you okay with the V&V model?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So I'll share the document. I'll share the document. This document. Go through each and everything. Okay. This methodologies or models. What I have discussed. Waterfall model, V model, or spiral model. You need to make sure that the advantages and disadvantages are clearly known, because the questions will be coming only advantages and disadvantages of waterfall model, spiral model, and V model. Okay, what is the difference between waterfall model and spiral model? What is the difference between waterfall model and V model? So these are the
Okay.
questions that you're going to get it in
Okay.
the interview. Okay, so that's why go through the document, try to understand it, because I'll be explaining only according to I'll be explaining the concept. I'm not using the proper definitions and all, right? Just
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain you the concept.
Concept.
Okay, so here I'll be here in the documentation I'll be giving the proper definitions, proper advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so go through the document. So I already
Sure.
given the questions also, what all the questions they are going to ask you in each and every thing.
Hey, so Raja, if we answer according to understanding, that would be fine, right?
Yeah,
Because
that
they
is
don't expect
that is
anything.
absolutely fine. Just you should be able to explain it clearly.
Yeah,
That's absolutely fine. No need to have in a proper wording format or something.
yeah. That's why, because I know the
Yeah, yeah,
all models, but I
yeah.
can't remember. I can memorize.
Yeah, yeah. So just if you're able to explain all the advantages and disadvantages, that's it. Fine. No need to use the proper wording or something. Just just you need to uh, ma- tell him that I know everything. I know what is waterfall model. I know what is V model. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? These are the disadvantages. These are the advantages. That's it.
Okay.
So already I had discussed about types of testing: manual testing, automation testing, Selenium, UFT, Tosca, and non-functional testing. Non-functional testing is performance testing. Okay, security testing is the security. So, so this next one is agile methodology. I'll explain it because agile methodology already you people have listened, but if you people want the agile methodology separately, one more class, then I can explain you that one later. Okay. I think I already explained you guys. Only Stavia has to know about agile methodology, but I'm not going to explain it that one now because it time won't be sufficient for me. Okay. So now we are going to discuss about software testing types. Okay. Until now, you people are clear, right?
Yeah. Yes.
What are software testing types? So we have three types of software testings. Okay. One is white box testing. I already told you what is who do white box testing.
Developer.
Developer. Yeah. Okay. Then gray box testing. Don't worry about gray box testing. Okay. So we will discuss it later. And black box testing. Black box testing is the one which we are gonna do. Okay. As a tester, we do black box testing. Okay. As a developer, white box testing. Developer will do white box testing. You need to remember this. Okay. We'll discuss more about black box testing. Or functional testing. Okay. Black box testing or functional testing. Okay, we have different types of black box testing or functional testings. Okay, first one is unit or component testing. Some people will call it functional testing. Okay, some people will call functional testing. Okay, to remember, here also we are calling functional testing. Here also we are calling functional testing. Okay, to remember, functional testing is also known as component testing or unit testing. Okay, don't confuse functional testing. We can give the definition, otherwise just remove this one. Okay, functional testing or component testing, we'll call it as a functional testing or component testing. Okay, second one is integration testing. These words already used in V&V model. Okay, system testing. These are the three types of testing that we are gonna do normally in our daily life, testing life. Okay, testing in the daily life in our testing. Okay, component testing, integration testing, system testing. These three will be doing every day. In every day, we are doing these three types of testings. Okay, first one will come to component testing. What is mean by component testing or functional testing? Okay. Suppose, what is mean by module? We can call it as module testing as well. Okay, or module testing. Okay, component testing or module testing or functional testing. Okay, what is module? Yeah, suppose we are developing a product A, then we are dividing this product into different modules: A1, A2, A3, and A4. Okay, we are developing a product A. This product will be divided into modules A1, A2, A3, A4. So now we have developed A1 product, A1 module. This module needs to be tested. This module needs to be tested. So what is mean by component or module testing? Component, we'll call this one, this A1, we can also call it as a component, right? A1 component, A2 component, A3 component, A4 component. Okay, we can call module or component. That's why we are calling component or module testing or functional testing. Testing each and every component, testing each and every definition I'm telling. Every component thoroughly against the against the requirement. Testing each and every component thoroughly against the requirement, we'll call it as component testing. Or functional testing or module testing. Testing each and every component thoroughly against the requirement, against the acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria word is used when I discussed about the agile methodology. Okay, requirement or acceptance criteria. Okay, for now just remember these words, Shravya. I'll tell you when I explain you about the agile methodology, what is mean by acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria is the requirement. Okay, we'll call it as acceptance criteria in agile methodology. Component testing means testing each and every component thoroughly against the requirement is called as a component testing. What is mean by thoroughly testing against the requirement? Thoroughly testing, what is mean by thoroughly?
Detailed.
Continuous.
Detailed, right? Suppose I have a component A1. Okay, suppose take an example of username. Okay, take an example of login functionality. Okay, in the login functionality, what will be having? Enter username. Sorry, enter username, enter password, click on login and cancel. This is, let us assume that this is the A1 component. This is the module, login module. Okay, login module or login functionality or component. This is one of the components. This will call it as a A1 module. So we need to test this one thoroughly. Thoroughly means username. Username should be 8 to 12 characters. 8 to 12 characters. Should be 8 to 36 characters and should be at least one special character, one number and one capital. Okay, this is the password that they are expecting. Once we click on login page, it should navigate, get to home page. Okay, cancel. Suppose this is the SRS document that we have. Okay, it has to clear all the fields and navigate to login page. Okay, this is the SRS document that we have. So thoroughly testing means we are checking username whether it is accepting 8 to 12 characters. Means we are checking username thoroughly 8 to 12 characters. What all the tests that you are going to do for 8 to 12 characters? So it is asking us to check whether it is accepting 8 to 12 characters.
Minimum.
Okay, how you are going to test this one? Username?
We're gonna put 8 character minimum.
Yeah, 8 we are going to put and check whether it is taking it or not. Then
9, 10 like that, individually. So that makes thoroughly
9
testing.
we are checking whether it is taking 9. We check whether it is taking 12, whether it is taking 13, whether it is taking 7, whether it is taking numbers, just numbers.
Number and alphabet.
Yeah, number and alphabet. Number and special characters. Both special number and both special characters, numbers and alphabets. Alphabets, numbers, and special characters. So these are all the tests that we are going to do it for just username. This will call it as a thorough testing. Okay, but the requirement is given only should be 8 to 12 characters. Okay, but how many tests we are doing for this? Okay, for just for username, we are testing this many kind of things.
Yeah.
But here it has given only just should be 8 to 12 characters. Okay, we are thinking beyond the requirement, right?
Yeah.
The same way, password. Password we it has given should be 8 to 36 characters and should be at least one special character, one number, and one capital letter. The same way, whatever we did for username, the same way we need to do for password. So we need to check each and every component. We can take it this one also component. We can take this one as a separate component. We can take whole this one as a component. Okay, we can take username as a component because we are checking whether the username is taking all the whether username is doing as per the requirement, whether it is doing all this, because we are checking username thoroughly against the requirement, whether it is meeting the criteria. And the same way we can check the password thoroughly, whether it is accepting 8 characters, whether it is accepting 36 characters, whether it is accepting 7, whether it is taking without special character, whether it is taking without capital letter, whether it is taking without number. So these are the things that we are going to test, right? So we are checking each and every component thoroughly. We are not checking just 8 characters and 12 characters and leaving that username. Just we can leave it, right? Just checking the 8 and 12 characters, whether it is working for 8 and 12. We can check it and we can leave it, right? That is not a thorough testing. That won't be a thorough testing. That will call it as a positive testing. Okay, that will call it as a positive testing. So thoroughly means both positive and negative testing should be done. Both positive and negative. Both positive and negative. So thorough testing means both positive and negative testing will be covered for each and every component. So we are testing for positive scenario, that is 8 characters. We are testing for 12 characters. This is negative scenario, 13 characters. It should not accept 13 characters. It should accept only 8 to 12 characters, right? This will call it as a negative scenario because we are checking whether it is taking out of bound, out of 12, more than 12. We are checking whether it is taking less than 8. This is also negative scenario. Number, it should accept only characters. It should not accept numbers. That is negative testing. We are checking whether it is taking both alphabets and numbers within the range of 8 to 12. We are checking whether it is taking special characters and numbers within the range. So we are doing it both positive and negative testing. That we'll call it as a thorough testing. Have you got it?
Yes.
So what is meant by component or module or functional testing? Testing each and every component thoroughly against the
Forward.
requirement or acceptance criteria called as component testing. Okay.
Yeah.
That is about component testing. What is meant by integration testing? Hopefully everyone everyone understood. Integration testing. What is meant by integration?
Integration means maybe it's all together.
Okay. Now
That's what
I have
the name
developed
says.
A1 component, then I have developed A2 component. So we have developed A1 component that is being tested thoroughly against the requirement. We have done the component testing for A1. Component testing for A1 completed. Then component testing for A2. For A2. So both are done, right? A1 and A2 both component testings are being done. So what is meant by integration? Now, what is meant by integration? I have a
Integration
login
means
function. I have a Gmail application. I have a Gmail application. First one is login. A1 is the login module, and compose mail is the second module, A2 module. Okay, A1 module is login. A2 module is compose mail. Okay, we have tested compose mail thoroughly. Component testing has been done, and for login functionality, we have done the component testing. Okay, so what is meant by integration now? Can you tell me what is meant by integration testing? for this application, what is meant by integration testing? What is meant by integration? Can you tell me the
Integration
definition?
is, yeah, it focus on common parts in two separate components.
Yeah.
Takes the common parts, right?
Integration
Like,
means, yeah, no. Integration means
so it's like
whether
combining everything.
so between A1 to A2 functionality is working or not. Checking
Oh,
whether the functionality between A1 to A2 is working or not. Okay. Checking between the components functionality. So checking whether the A1 to A2 functionality is working or not. So to check here, after login, whether we are able to compose an email. So without login, can we able to compose an email? Without
no,
login, can you able to compose an email?
no.
No. So we need to check whether we can able to log in, and after login we can able to compose an email. So checking whether the functionality between login and compose mail is working or not. Integration between two components. Checking whether the functionality between login and compose mail is working or not. That we'll call it as a integration testing. Okay. Suppose I had taken one more A3. Now that is sent items. Okay. I have A3 sent items. So how you are gonna do A3 testing? First, let me know we have the component A1 login functionality, A2 compose mail, and A3 sent items. We already completed login functionality of A1 component testing, compose mail component testing done. After that, we got delivered third component A3 sent items. So tell me what all the testing types you are gonna do. How you are gonna start first? Which one you are gonna test first? I have
A1,
login, I have compose mail, I have sent items. So which one you are going to test it first?
login.
Sent items is the latest component that it got delivered by the developer.
Oh, yeah. First component testing should be done, right?
Yeah.
For A3.
First
Then we
we
need to
three.
follow the step.
Yeah. First we do component testing for sent items. Okay. If it is working properly, sent items is working properly, then what we are going to do?
So if it is working in the steps like login, compose mail, and then send item, all three
So,
one by one.
yeah. So you need to test A1 to
A3.
A1 to A3. Okay. A2 to A3. Okay. So this way, first we need to test A3, then A2 to A3, then A1 to A3, and A1 to A1 to A2. Okay. So like this. First we need to test A3, then we need to
Oh,
check
okay.
A2 to A3, then A1 to A3, A1 to A2. I'll tell you why we need to do A1 to A2. Okay. I'll tell you later. Okay. So to make sure that the functionality between the two or more modules is working properly or not. To make sure that the functionality between two or more modules. To make sure that the functionality between in the modules working properly, called as integration testing. Okay. Any doubt? To make sure that the functionality between the modules working properly or not, that we'll call it as a integration testing. Or any doubt?
Uh, so this one you write like A1 to A3, A2 to A3, and then A3. So
No,
A3 we
no,
need
no,
to
no,
do
no.
it first, right?
Leave it this one. Yeah, this one. A3 first,
Yeah.
then A2 to A3, A1 to A3, A1 to A2. First component, okay? Then the integration between the two components, A2 to A3 first, then A1 to A3, then A1 to A2. I'll tell you why we need to test A1 to A2. Okay, later I'll tell you why we need to test A1 to A2. That I'll tell you later. Have you understood about component and integration testing?
Yes.
Okay, the third one is system testing. What is mean by system testing? So A is the product that we are developing. We have the modules of A1, A2, A3, A4. So system testing means testing the functionality end to end functionality, end to end. What is meant by end to end? We'll also system testing also called as end to end testing. Okay. So checking end to end flow is working properly or not. Suppose I have a Gmail application, as I said previously, Gmail application. We are testing the Gmail application. So in the system testing, what I gonna do? Login, then compose, then sent items, then verifying, delete. Okay, let's take delete. Okay, these are the four modules that you have in the Gmail application, that is A. Okay, we are developing Gmail application A. We have four modules: login, compose, sent items, delete. So end-to-end testing means so end-to-end testing, the name itself tell you we need to check from end-to-end flow is working properly or not, right? Okay, are you understanding? We need to
Yes.
check whether end-to-end flow is working properly or not. So here we are not bothering about the component testing. We are not bothering about the integration testing. Okay. Here in system testing, we are not bothered about component, or we are not bothered about sent items. We are not bothered about integration testing. Just we'll be checking whether the end-to-end flow is working properly or not. So what in the system testing, what we are going to do? Just we'll log in, we'll compose an email, then we check whether after sending the mail, we'll check whether it is displayed in the sent items. Okay, then we'll once we delete the sent items, whether it is in the deleted items or not. Just we'll check end-to-end flow. We are not bothered about component. We are not bothered about integration. Just in system testing, we'll check whether end-to-end flow is working properly or not. Because component testing is done already, sent for login. Component testing done for compose, and the integration testing between login and compose has been already tested. Then sent items, it got it. We already tested component testing for sent items, and also integration testing between login sent items, compose sent items. Okay, this integration already completed. Then it has been delete functionality has been developed. This also component testing is already done. In integration testing between login, compose, login, sent items, login, delete, everything has been tested thoroughly, and integration testing also completed. Now we need to do system testing. The whole product has been developed and released to us. Then we need to do system testing, that is end-to-end testing. We'll check there whether end-to-end flow is working properly or not. So login, after login, compose, then sent items, then delete. So we'll log in the application, then we'll compose an email and send it, and we check whether the item is in the sent items, and then we delete it in the sent items, whether it is able to delete it or not. So this is end-to-end flow that we are going to test it. So we are not going to bother about the component or integration testing in the system testing. Okay. When it comes to integration testing, first we do component, right? Whatever the new module that is coming, we do the component testing first. Then we start testing the integration between the modules. But when it comes to system testing, we are not bothered about the component or system integration testing, because we already completed all the component integration testings in the previous. So we do only bother about end-to-end flow is working properly or not. That is system testing. Okay.
So what is
System
the
testing.
difference if they ask integration and system? So how
Yeah.
do you explain?
So system testing is testing the end-to-end flow is working. Whether
So
the
you have
end-to-end
to
flow
go
is
step by
working.
step, first to end.
For integration testing, we are gonna check whether the functionality between the modules is working properly or not. Whether the
So
functionality between the two or more modules is working properly or not.
and
We are not.
it can go zigzag, right? Any step module to anywhere, like
Yeah,
one to three,
it is
one to
going.
two.
Though we are covering here end to end because see A2 A3 we are testing, A2 to
Yeah.
A3 we are testing, A1 to A3 testing, A1 to A2 testing. Everything is done. Here also we are doing system testing. But the final
Oh,
product once it is deployed, because it is the developers are giving module wise here. Okay, but when it comes to end, the whole product will be delivered. So we need to make sure that the so A1 is given, A2 is given, A3 is given, A4 is given. We have done integration, we have done component testing. Then we have checked whether the integration between A1 to A2 is working, A2 to A3 is working, A3 to A1 is working properly or not. But after giving the end product A4, okay, after giving this one, maybe the functionality might be broken somewhere. Though we tested A1 to A2, A2 to A3, A3 to A4, but while testing from A1 to A4, some might be not working. Some might be not working. So before we deliver the end product, we need to make sure that the end-to-end functionality is properly working or not. Just we are making sure that the end-to-end product is working properly or not. So,
oh, the
yeah,
functions.
yeah, whole functionality. That is the main important thing, right?
Yeah.
End-to-end flow should be the main important thing. So if that
Because
is
in
not,
WhatsApp they have the when you call on WhatsApp they are saying end to end encrypted like that.
yeah, yeah.
So maybe that's they
So
follow these steps.
yeah. So integration testing, we are making sure that between the modules is working properly or not. Okay. That main intention is not to test the flow between A1 to A4, but the intention is to test between the modules. A1 to A2 is working, A1 to A2, A3 is working, A1 to A4 is working. Okay. Still there we are doing some testing, but by the end of the product, once the whole product is developed and given to us, then we need to test the system testing. We need to do end-to-end testing once, compulsory. Okay. Here we are testing it when it is coming in module wise. We are tested whether the flow is working properly between the modules. But once we get the final product, we should be doing one round of testing that we'll call it as end-to-end testing. So definitely we need to do one end-to-end testing. Though we have covered something in the integration
Previous.
testing, yeah, previously, but that doesn't mean that we have completed full testing. So normally we automate end-to-end test cases. We automate end-to-end test cases. Okay, we'll pick we'll pick all the end-to-end test cases for our automation. Okay, we'll we'll pick component functional testing test cases as a integration for automation testing. Okay, this is about system testing, integration testing, and functional or component testing. Okay, I think for today, I think it is enough. Okay, I'll share you the document until here. I'll share you whole document, manual testing document. So whatever the topics that I have covered, please go through it before you come to the next class. Okay. If you have any doubts, please let me know. You can ping me separately or you can ask me in the next class. Okay. Because I'm covering a lot of stuff in a single class, it is a long class, 2.5 hours. So maybe you may not remember all the things. You might got the concept, but you can't remember all the things at a time. So you need to go through the document once or twice. Then you should remember all the things that I had told.
Of course.
Okay.
So
So
that's all for today.
sorry.
That's all for today, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's all for today. it's already 2.5 hours. So okay. Thanks for joining. Please let me know
Thank you
if
so
you
much.
have any. Yeah, yeah. Please let me know if you have any doubts. You can ping me separately, or you can ask me in the class next class once you go through
So
the document.
tomorrow we are doing at 6, right?
Yeah, yeah. We are gonna do it at 6 o'clock, 6 to 8:30.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So please don't ask me to change the timings. If I
No,
have
no,
any
no.
problem, yeah. If I have any problem, I'll let you know uh,
Okay.
before only. Okay. So I'll be taking 6 to 8:30. This is fixed time for on every weekend. So if any changes, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Raja, please share the document. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 I'll share it now. Yeah, I'll share it.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thanks a
Okay.
lot. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Cheers.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.